What we're talking about is the holy place and how the end time abomination, which will cause the desolation, it's not only not the vaccine, the jab, but we're also not even looking in the right direction. We should not be looking in the direction of a third temple. Let's get into it. Now, to recap from the previous video, you see we have discussed that the 2300 year prophecy that the Antichrist would practice and it would prosper. But the Lord says that then the sanctuary shall be cleansed. So we discussed how each article in his heavenly sanctuary, the symbols, were torn down during the Dark Ages, which is also known as the 42 months, which is also known as the time dividing of time, which is also known as the 1260 years, which is that fourth church, Thyatira. And you hear that mention of Jezebel, not literal Jezebel, but the prophetic Jezebel, which it's important to understand the Jezebel story. You see, because the Bible is typology. So what was literal in the Old Testament will be symbolic in the New. So the Jezebel story, Old Testament, these were literal people. Jezebel, Ahab, Jezebel's false prophets. Then you have Elijah. Well, who was the New Testament Jezebel? Well, you can see her in Herodias. Who was the New Testament Ahab? That was King Herod, who married his Philip's wife Herodias. Now, who was the false prophet in this scenario? Well, it was Salome, who was Herodias' daughter. And who did they go after? John the Baptist, and he is the New Testament Elijah, who came in the spirit and the power of Elijah. Now, it's important that you see the Jezebel mentioned in that fourth church, Thyatira, which is also running consecutive with that pale green horse. And you see that time frame, the 42 months, the 1260 years, the times dividing of time. Well, it identifies this power as being the prophetic Jezebel. So there are 10 proof points identifying that prophetic Jezebel, and you can find that in Revelation 13, because they are also known as the Revelation 13 CBs. They're also known as the King of the North. Jezebel, also they are known as the Antichrist, which is the 1/3 part of the diabolical trilogy that's coming all the way to the end of time. And here is proof point 1, proof point 2, proof point 3, proof point 4, and the proof point 5. And this is the time prophecy using the prophetic time, the year-day principle. And here is proof point 6, proof point 7, proof point 8, proof point 9, and proof point 10, which can be seen here. So that is solidification that the prophetic Jezebel power, the beast power, the harlot, is the papacy. Now we can also see that the false prophet, which is the 2/3 of the diabolical trilogy, is found in the apostate Protestants, because the harlot, who's the papacy, has daughters, and they never fully came out from the mother church and her doctrine, her dogma. For example, the wrong idea of the state of the dead, the false day of worship, not understanding the validity of God's seventh day Sabbath.